Howdy folks, welcome back to the Outback Cooking Company's YouTube channel. I'm Jared, your host, and this is Outback Eats. In this version of Outback Eats today, we are going to be cooking up our Dutch oven version of beefy mushroom smoked enchiladas. As is our typical fashion, we draw inspiration from outside sources, cookbooks and so forth that we've made recipes from. This week's inspiration is Cowboy in the Kitchen by Grady Spears. So we've got a couple recipes for enchiladas along with our own recipe. We're going to kind of meld those together. We're going to come up with some enchilada sauce using our own Brushfire BBQ sauce. We're going to put that in the recipe. And we're also going to use some beef from a beef roast that we cooked yesterday, which was Sunday. So if any of you guys still take advantage of cooking a beef roast on Sunday, which some of you do, I'm sure, and you've got some leftovers, we're going to take those leftovers and hopefully inspire you to make a recipe that you can take with you the rest of the week. Folks, we've got some people on our wanted posters. The first guy is named Wasteful Willie. Hey, we've got this roast beef like I mentioned. It's been in our fridge here for 24 hours and we want to make sure we use it. We don't want to be a wasteful Willie. So we're going to see what we can do with this recipe. Today we're going to make beef enchiladas. If we've got some leftovers, we're going to find another creative way to use that tomorrow. We made an awesome roast beef yesterday. You'll see some of that here in this video, and if you're interested in finding our recipe, we're going to include a link to that. We incorporated some cool ingredients in there. They're going to work well in our beef enchiladas today. Anyway, we've got this roast beef leftover that we've shredded from our beef made yesterday. And then we've got some other ingredients and some inspirations that we're going to include here. We're going to be cooking ours on a Dutch oven. So it's going to take us a little bit longer. If you want to cook this in a oven, in your standard oven in the kitchen, you can use a standard 9x13 pan. It just depends how you want to make it, but keep it simple. That's the main goal here.
For someone who might not know, what's this thing?
This is what we call a charcoal starter. I'll lift this up for you. But the charcoal sit up off of the ground and then it's vented. It's basically just got a little grate right here, allowing the heat to come in and come up through the charcoals. Depending on the kind of charcoals you get, some of them turn to ash a lot quicker than others. We like a hardwood, either hardwood or hardwood briquettes that burn slower, longer, take a little bit longer to get going, but then when we use them on our Dutch oven, they last longer. Once in a while, I will use an instant light. These things come with some lighter fluid on them, so I don't like to use those a lot, but I will layer a few in the bottom of this, sometimes to get the fire going a little quicker. Depends where we're cooking, how much wind we're fighting. It's just a good tool to get all the charcoal lit at once, just allow some of that air to draw through underneath, just like a chimney. Okay, first things first, we're going to make some red enchilada sauce. Now there are various versions. Today, as I mentioned, we're going to draw some inspiration from this Cowboy in the Kitchen cookbook. We're going to follow the recipe. He calls for 2 cups of red chili paste. Our version of that today is our Brushfire BBQ sauce. Now, as I mentioned before, we live in a small town, a small grocery store. Never quite know what you're going to get down there, what you're going to find. Today I went shopping for some dried peppers. They weren't available. We got to thinking, I've got 3 peppers in this Brushfire sauce. I wonder what we can do with that. The recipe calls for 2 cups of chili paste. These bottles are 8-ounce bottles, so it's going to take 2 bottles of that today for our recipe. 1 cup of diced tomato. We're going to use crushed tomatoes. 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. 1 tablespoon of honey. That'll take the edge off of that pepper just a little bit. Half a teaspoon, of kosher salt. 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Alright folks, there's the basic enchilada sauce. We're going to spread a little bit of that on the bottom of our pan, and then after we've fried our tortillas, we'll roll those tortillas in some of this sauce, put our meat into that, the meat mixture, and then hopefully have a little left over to cover the top. Not everybody likes mushrooms, so this is an option. If you don't like it, by all means leave it out. Just we're going to do a simple saute in some butter. Looks like a little overkill on the mushrooms. Whatever's left over, we're going to use in tomorrow morning's omelet, right? Wasteful Willie. I don't want to see him around here.
No, we do not.
That's how I tell when they're done. Look at that baby. It's got a little brown color to it, a little char. They smell good. Got a 12-inch Dutch oven. We're probably gonna put about 12 enchiladas in here. I'm gonna use about 2 cups of meat. We're gonna add 14 ounces of diced tomatoes and a 1/2 cup of green chilies. We're gonna add our mushrooms to it and a little bit of our homemade enchilada sauce. Blend that together, and that'll be our base for our meat mixture that goes in our enchiladas. I'm not going to drain these tomatoes. Hopefully there's a little bit of liquid in there that will blend in with the meat. I like green chili. We're going to use about a 1/2 cup green chili. Now, more or less depends on your liking. All right, we're going to use about this many mushrooms, which should be about a 1/2 cup. Joe, we've made these in our field skillet today. Hopefully you can check that out on our website, or you can check out Field Company. They make some great skillets. One thing I bought from them here a couple weeks ago was a leather handle. This pan is hot after I'm done cooking these things, so we'll just slide that on. If you all want to see, that's about a 1/2 cup of mushrooms. I'm just going to use them all. And we'll stir all that together. Enchilada sauce for moisture. That'll be about a 1/2 cup. Putting that right into the meat.
And you hadn't added any of that previously, right? You were just using the juice
I had
from the
not.
tomato.
That's correct. All right, the meat mixture is finished. Ready to go in some tortillas. Oh geez, I forgot to put my apron on, guys. Check out that bad boy. All right, now that we got the apron problem fixed, on to cooking up some of these corn tortillas. Today we're gonna use white corn tortillas. We're gonna soften these in some vegetable oil here in our field skillet. We'll just do a quick dip in there for about 5 or 10 seconds. We don't wanna cook them too much. Quick dip, soften them up so that when we roll these tortillas, they don't crack. All right, I think we've got a dozen cooked up here. I'm going to take about a 1/2 cup of enchilada sauce. I'm going to line the bottom of that Dutch oven with that. Everybody likes cheese. This is what we had on hand today at our store. It's not the #1 preferred cheese that I like, but that's what we've got today. It's a mixture of Monterey Jack, and that's got some jalapeno peppers in it, mustard and cheddar. It's going to work fine. We're going to take about a cup of that, blend that in with our meat, and then we will put cheese on top of those enchiladas before we cook them. If cheese isn't in your diet for some reason or another, you can leave that out. Okay, we're ready to put these enchiladas together, Joe. I'm going to take that enchilada. It's softened, but still it's pliable here, but it's not going to break. I'm just going to do a quick dip into the sauce. We'll lay that here on the cutting board. Add a little bit of meat to that. We'll roll that up. Into the pan it goes. You can pack these things in pretty tight. All right, we've got enchilada sauce on the bottom of the pan. We've dipped our tortillas in enchilada sauce, and then we're gonna put a little bit more on top. Spread a little bit of cheese on top here. We're not gonna put all of the cheese on yet. We're gonna sprinkle a little bit in here, and then we're gonna do a cook for about 30 minutes. Pop the lid off, throw a little bit more cheese on top, and finish that off for about 10 minutes. One final addition to our recipe that we're going to do today is a chipotle cream. This is again out of Grady Spears' Cooking the Cowboy Way cookbook. It's pretty simple. It calls for 3 cups of sour cream, 6 tablespoons of buttermilk, and a teaspoon of adobo sauce. To make the cream, blend the sour cream and buttermilk in a small bowl. Let it stand at room temperature for 12 hours to thicken. After it's thickened, add the adobo sauce to the sour cream mixture and set aside at room temperature until we're ready to bake. Well, I've done this and set it aside for about 4 hours. So it's come to room temperature, thickened up a little bit. We're gonna add the adobo sauce to that. We'll spread a little layer on top of this enchilada bake, and then we'll take it to the fire. All right, you can find these chipotles in adobo sauce at most supermarkets. This is what we're using today. And I'm gonna use a tablespoon of that sauce. I've already got the sour cream and buttermilk mixed up here. And we'll blend that together. And we're gonna spread that over the top of our enchilada bake here. I like black olives in the right place. So mushrooms and black olives are 2 things that can be optional to this dish. In fact, the cream sauce can be optional if you're on a lactose-free diet. We just bought some simple canned ripe olives. They're already pre-cut. We're gonna drain those. Today we'll probably just put them on half of them in case we've got somebody here at the table that does not like black olives. All right, Joe, what do you think, man?
Looks amazing.
We're ready to take that thing to the fire, so we'll see you out there. It's a little windy today, Joe.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's got those coals just flaming up. It's going to be a little tricky today to manage that. It's kind of windy. So I'm going by my feel today. Now it might be a lot easier for you guys just to cook it in the oven. To poke that button, 375, about 25 minutes or so. Pop it out of the oven, throw a little more cheese on, back in the oven for 10 minutes. Boom, done. We're into adventure today, so we're out here in the wind. I mean, that might not look hot, but it's hot enough I can't not hold my hand right there. Pretty warm. We've been on about 20 minutes, so we're gonna have a peek here to see how we're progressing. Get right in there, Joe. Oh, look at that. We are coming along. I'm gonna run back inside, grab a little more shredded cheese, spread on that, cook for about 5 minutes, and we're gonna call it good. Look at that stuff bubbling, Joe. Give that lid a quarter twist. Give her 5 more minutes.
So why do you quarter twist the lid?
Well, rather than move all these coals around, I quarter twist the lid. That way if we've got a hot spot or something with the coals, make sure everything gets a good even cook to it. I wanted to garnish these enchiladas with cilantro today, Joe, but I don't have those. I don't have cilantro. So I have some green onion in the fridge. Dice those up, put that on top. Looks like we're done. And those smell good, Joe.
Yeah, they do.
casserole. Alright folks, there it is. Our beefy mushroom smoked enchiladas done in a Dutch oven. Didn't turn out quite exactly like what we were intending on as far as the looks of an enchilada. It was a little difficult to get out of this Dutch oven. You guys will find it easier to pull it out of a 9x13. The taste is going to be all the same, I guarantee you there. Pretty darn good, Joe. Better get that camera cut off so you can have some here. Well folks, thanks for tuning in again today to the Outback Cooking Company's YouTube channel. Just reminding you to find a recipe for both the roast beef and for the enchilada on our website. In the meantime, catch us at the Specialty Food Association show in Las Vegas this week. We're going to be highlighting our barbecue sauces. The sauce we used again here today was Brushfire. Tune back in. We'll have something fun and exciting. Thanks again. See you next week.